This is everything that happened in AI this week, July 7th through 13th, 2026, in one video. 10 stories. No filler. Let us start. Chapter: The biggest AI news this week. OpenAI, Google, and XAI all released new flagship models in a single week. That has never happened before. GPT 5.6 went to general availability on July 9th, 3 tiers, Luna through Sol, with Sol targeting biology, chemistry, and cybersecurity. Gemini 2.5 Pro scored 82.4% on GPQA Diamond, the hardest science benchmark, beating every competitor. And XAI shipped Grok 4.5 on July 8th, the first flagship since SpaceX absorbed the company. 3 flagships. 7 days. This is week 28. Chapter: GPT 5.6, 3 tiers, 1 flagship. OpenAI ended 2 weeks of gated preview and opened GPT 5.6 to everyone on July 9th. The lineup has 3 tiers. Luna is the fast, cheap option at $1 per million input tokens. Terra matches GPT 5.5 performance at half the cost, $2.50 per million input. Sol is the flagship, tuned for hard science and security, at $5 per million input. All 3 are live in ChatGPT, Codex, and the API. The pricing is aggressive. But Gemini 3.5 Pro, arriving July 17th with a 2 million token context window, is priced at $1.25, 4 times cheaper than Sol on input. Chapter: Google vs OpenAI, who's winning? Gemini 2.5 Pro just beat GPT 5.5 and Claude Fable 5 on the hardest science benchmark. 82.4% on GPQA Diamond. 89.8% on MMLU Pro. Those are the new records. Google did it with Deep Think Reasoning Mode, its equivalent of OpenAI's extended thinking. But the bigger story is what comes next. Gemini 3.5 Pro launches July 17th on a completely new pre-training run with a 2 million token context window, double anything else on the market. Input pricing around $1.25 undercuts GPT 5.6 Sol by 4 times. Google is not catching up. Google is pulling ahead on context and cost. Chapter: Claude Mythos 5 under export control. The U.S. Commerce Department lifted export controls on Claude Mythos 5. Partially. On June 12, the government banned Claude Mythos 5 for general deployment, an emergency export control order that shocked the industry. 2 weeks of negotiations followed. The result: approximately 100 organizations operating and defending critical infrastructure can now deploy it. The general public ban remains. Anthropic cannot sell Mythos 5 to ordinary customers. This is the first time a commercial AI model has been treated like a weapons-grade export. The export control framework that governs semiconductors now governs language models. That precedent will shape AI policy for the next decade. Chapter: The 5-Nation AI Agent Guide. 5 countries quietly released a joint guide on AI agents. Read it. The United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom published careful adoption of agentic AI services this week, a coordinated document for critical infrastructure operators on how to safely deploy AI agents that act autonomously. It covers trust boundaries, sandboxing, rollback requirements, and human-in-the-loop thresholds. It is not a law. But when the intelligence agencies of 5 English-speaking democracies agree on a security posture, that posture becomes the baseline. Every enterprise deploying agentic AI should read this before their next deployment decision. Chapter: Meta cuts 8,000 AI restructuring. Meta cut 8,000 jobs and reassigns 7,000 more to AI teams. The layoffs represent 10% of Meta's total workforce. 6,000 open roles were cancelled. This is not a company in trouble, it is a company restructuring around a single bet: that AI will replace enough human work that the current headcount is no longer the right shape. Meanwhile, the European Central Bank gave every significant European bank until October 31 to prove it can withstand an AI-powered cyber attack. The United Kingdom placed AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft, and Oracle under systemic risk supervision, the same oversight reserved for firms that can break the financial system. Chapter: AI is rewriting healthcare economics. AI is now rewriting the healthcare industry's economics. The global AI in pharma market is projected to reach $28.63 billion by 2034, growing at 31.2% annually. The driver is drug discovery. AI is cutting the traditional 10-year development timeline and reducing preclinical R&D costs by up to 50%. At the same time, 6 U.S. states enacted new laws this week restricting how health insurers can use AI in coverage decisions. Illinois signed the Artificial Intelligence Safety Measures Act, modeled after California and New York, requiring annual independent audits of AI systems capable of helping create weapons of mass destruction. Together, those 3 states cover 40% of the U.S. AI market. Chapter: Gemini 2.5 breaks every benchmark. Gemini 2.5 Pro did not just break a benchmark. It invalidated the old benchmark hierarchy. GPQA Diamond was designed to be too hard for AI. It uses questions written by PhD researchers in their own fields, questions that experts in adjacent fields get wrong. 4 months, the frontier sat around 75%. Gemini 2.5 Pro scored 82.4. On MMLU Pro, the hardest version of the most widely used academic benchmark, it hit 89.8. The implication: AI systems now exceed median expert performance on the hardest questions in biology, chemistry, and physics. Not on average questions. On the hardest ones. Chapter: 3 Things That Actually Matter. 3 things that actually matter from week 28. First, the model war just became a price war. GPT 5.6 sold at $5, Gemini 3.5 Pro incoming at $1.25. Whoever wins on cost wins the enterprise market. Second, export controls on AI models are real. Claude Mythos 5 is under the same legal framework as semiconductor chips. This is the new normal for frontier models. Third, the regulatory baseline is being set right now. Illinois, California, New York, the EU AI Act on August 2nd, the 5-nation Agentic AI Guide. The rules that will govern AI for the next decade are being written in the next 90 days. Chapter: EU AI Act, 18 days left. The EU AI Act enters full force on August 2nd. That is 18 days from now. Starting August 2nd, prohibited AI systems must be off European markets. High-risk AI systems, those affecting employment, education, credit, healthcare, and law enforcement, face mandatory conformity assessments, technical documentation, and human oversight requirements. In the United States, Illinois signed the AI Safety Measures Act on July 6, joining California and New York. Those 3 states represent 40% of U.S. AI activity and have effectively created a national standard without Congress acting. If your organization uses AI in any regulated context, the legal landscape changed this week. That is the complete picture of AI in week 28. 3 flagship models in 7 days. A frontier AI under government export control for the first time. Meta restructuring around AI at scale. And a regulatory clock ticking toward August 2nd, when the EU AI Act becomes enforceable law. Every one of these stories would have been the headline of the year in 2023. In 2026, they all happened in the same week. Subscribe to DrVital AI Lab, the week in AI, every week, fully explained. And as always, trust me, bro.